we talked about it, and this is one of the really most important programs that we have here, and today is really our day to celebrate this program, because this is a program that our club supports. It's a program that was created by one of our Rotarians, and it's a program that's completely unique to our club. So we're happy to be able to have the opportunity to share some information about it. So in 1996, Rotarian Baylor Landrum Jr. founded what was then the Landrum Prize for Leadership. And what that was is a partnership between the Landrum family and the University of Louisville School of Business. And the purpose of the program was to identify out of the graduating MBA students, folks that were future leaders, but they were early on in their career, and to give them really a vehicle and a platform to help guide them and develop them and understand the importance of community service and community involvement. So that when they would be later on in their careers and they would be leader of their companies and businesses, that they would really understand the importance of servant leadership. So that's what Baylor's vision and mission was with the program. In 2001, this program was actually joined with Rotary because Baylor realized that the mission of his program and the mission of Rotary were really kind of the same. And for a lot of the program, he was actually pulling a lot of Rotarians in to help him run it. Upon his death, he actually endowed the program with an extremely generous gift of $125,000, so that between the Rotary Club and between his endowment, that hopefully this program can live on in perpetuity. So many of us knew Baylor. He was an amazing guy. He did so much for the city. He did so much for the club. He did so much for the community. And he really loved Rotary. But you don't need to hear it from me. You can actually just hear it from Baylor himself. So, Debbie,
what do you love most about Rotary?
I guess I love the challenges that it brings to get to know people. Okay, I still have that trait in me. And also to be with a group of people, men and women, who want to do something for Louisville instead of just do everything for themselves and their families. Certainly our families come very important to all of us, but there's more to life than that. And somebody said once, I believe it's true, that they never met a man who, when he retired, said, I wish I spent more time with my business then. It's always the other way around. I wish I spent more time with my family. So you need to be encouraged to be a part of the community. And you do that when there are 400 or 500 people in the same feeling you are, that they want to be a part of Louisville and to make it tick.
So that's Baylor. So that's our founder of this program. Baylor was an amazing guy. I'm honored to say that he was definitely a friend. He was definitely a mentor to all of us, and he's done so much for the city, for Rotary, and if I stood up here and just talked about it, that could actually be an entire Rotary meeting. That video was actually filmed about a year before his death in 2011, and actually in our next Sparks newsletter, there'll be a link for anybody to click on that you can go see the full video that when he was interviewed by Wayne Kirby. So I really encourage you to do that and learn a little more about Baylor in case you happen to not know him. So quickly, I just want to talk about, so how does this program work? So any MBA student from the University of Louisville School of Business that is graduating during the year where we're doing our selection process, so that's typically like May and August graduates, so they're eligible for the program. They go through a competitive application and interview process. We pick 2 fellows a year. The 2 fellows that win get a $5,000 scholarship award. Half of that's paid upon winning, the other half they get upon graduating. They're in the program for 3 years. During that 3 years, they become an honorary Rotarian. They come to luncheons. They get a Rotarian mentor. They can have one or they can have multiple during their 3 years. And then they also, each fellow, one time a year, host a meeting where they bring in a community leader to come in and talk to all the fellows about leadership and community service. So that's really what makes up all the program. So what type of impact does this program have? Well, since 2001 when this joined in with Rotary, over half of all the fellows that have finished the program at some point have joined Rotary. We've had every person that is a former fellow that is currently in the club has been a chair or a vice chair of a committee, so we are all heavily involved in the club. We've had 2 former fellows have been directors of this club. One of our current former fellows is a director on the Rotary Fund Board. We have had one of our graduating fellows today actually spearheaded our social media campaign, Ashley Brower, so she's actually going to chair up that committee next year. And frankly, without a fellow, where would Greg Braun have had a place to put all of his selfie pictures that he took last year? So, our speaker today is a current fellow. We bring diversity to the club. We're also proud to say we lowered the average age of the club. And I can definitely speak on behalf of myself and probably all the fellows in here that at some point during our time in this program and after we've exited this program, that this program impacted our careers. And I think all of us have all moved up in our jobs. We've all had new opportunities and things that I can definitely say in my personal case that I attribute a lot of it to this program and what Baylor offered it. So that's really what I call success. So I do want to quickly recognize a few people. First off, from the University of Louisville, none of their folks were able to come today that kind of help us out with this program. And understandably, they got a few issues going on over there they're working through. But we have 3 key people that we work with over there: Vernon Foster, Lori Purdue, and Susan Hildebrand. And let me tell you, they really make this thing tick at U of L, because they handle advertising for us. They put a brochure together. They gather all of the applications. They set the interviews up. They set events up for us. They give opportunities for us to go over and speak to all the MBA students that we tell them about this program, and we can get applicants. So without them, we couldn't do that, and we really appreciate all their help. One thing I want to do is just, real quick, anyone that has been a committee member of the fellows, if you've been a mentor to any one of our fellows at any point in time, if you've helped attend one of our events where we've done recruiting at U of L, or if you've been on the interview committee at any point in time, I just want to extend a big thank you from all of us, because that's how we make this program work, is through the efforts of all the Rotarians. So I appreciate everyone's efforts on that. So now I want to introduce our fellows. So first off, we have our newest fellows, Krista Manning and Sam Jones. They've been at a few meetings so far. You'll see them around at more meetings, but please note that all of our fellows at the bottom, they have their leadership fellows on the bottom, so they're kind of easy to spot on their tags. Our current fellows are Sophia Fisher. Our current fellows that are in the program are Sophia Fisher. You already saw her earlier today. Elizabeth Keller, and our speaker today is Maggie Galloway. And now we've got our graduating fellows. We actually have 3, and so you're probably saying, well, hold on, before you said you picked 2 a year, why do you have 3? It's complicated, so just don't worry about it. So our 3 graduating fellows today, they're all going to come up and say a couple of words about their experience in the program. Our 3 graduates today are Laura Crahan, Jenny Drake, and Ashley Brower.
For your support, and look forward to what the year ahead has in store. I'd like to thank Debbie Skidmore for making us all feel so welcome in the club. It would not be what it is without your hard work and dedication. I would like to thank my mentors, Nancy Jo Trapton and Ingrid Hernandez. You're 2 of the busiest women I know, yet you're able to make the time to meet with me and give me advice, and that advice has just been phenomenal at my time here. You really demonstrated what service to herself means in the truest fashion and helped guide me on my path as a Rotarian. I'd also like to thank Kristen Boone for speaking at our Rotary Leadership Fellows meeting. You're a true servant leader, and I appreciate your time and insight. I'd like to thank the Entertainment Committee, Matt, Greg, Cliff, and Todd in particular. I had a lot of fun working with you, planning events. As part of this committee, we had a great time with Sister Act Musical, the U of L Tailgate, and the Evan Williams Bourbon Experience Tour. I'd like to thank Bob Belknap. I appreciate the opportunity that you gave me to participate in the Bourbon and Grill event and learning about the remarkable work that the American Printing House for the Blind does. I'd like to thank the leadership of the Rotary Leadership Fellows Committee, to Jim, Barbara, Brian, Amy, Emily, Lucas, and Matt. Thank you for spearheading this program. It's been an amazing experience. And lastly, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for welcoming MBA graduates like myself into your club. It's, again, been an incredible opportunity. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm honored to be joining this club as a full-fledged member and continuing to give, learn, and grow. Thank you so much.
Jenny Drake. Well, it's really hard to believe that my 3 years as a Rotary Leadership Fellow has already come to an end. On occasions like these, I like to look back and think about the things that have changed. For instance, at the beginning of my Rotary tenure, Brexit wasn't a hashtag, and nobody had talked about Pokemon since the 90s. When I became a Rotary Fellow, our city was still beaming with pride coming off of U of L's first national championship in 27 years. Things have changed, somewhat for the worse, but of course, the more things change, the more things stay the same. For instance, the UK football team still hasn't been able to put together a winning season since 2009. Many things have changed for me personally in the last 3 years as well. In 2013, I was working in marketing in a large corporation and loving it. But as the corporate cookie crumbles, I found myself on the job hunt after a restructuring effort. I was blindsided by this, to say the least, and at that time, Rotary was vital to me during a difficult time. It provided me with a positive outlet, networking opportunities, and introduced me to people who could relate and offer me advice. I would especially like to thank my two mentors, Teresa Rady and Marty Hazel, for providing a sounding board during that time. In that role, and in many of my other past roles, there was always a service component to it. I had worked in higher education, and even in my stint in the corporate world, I oversaw charitable giving. Nowadays, I work for a liquor company. So while I believe that I'm providing a service, many would disagree that maybe it's not for the greater good. This is an area where Rotary has provided supplemental opportunities that my current job doesn't as readily afford. With Rotary and the Leadership Fellows program, there are always opportunities to give back. Maybe that's in the form of a Jameson Irish whiskey raffle gift for one of Craig's fundraisers, but that's neither here nor there. Getting ready for today, I found a copy of my Rotary application essay, and I opened it with a quote from the late Muhammad Ali. He said, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth." So I feel like it's only fitting to end with another quote from the greatest. And this is one I hadn't heard before. "If they can make penicillin out of moldy bread, they surely can make something out of you." I'm thankful for the influence Rotary has had on my life, and I'm a little more penicillin and a lot less moldy bread because of it.
Hi, I'm Ashley Brower. It's hard to believe that my 3 years as a Rotary Leadership Fellow have come to a close. They've been a big 3 years. I completed my MBA, changed jobs, moved, and have become more involved in the community, including in this club. I spent 2 years as vice chair of the communications committee, and now I'm committee chair, and I'm glad to be involved. One of the things I've enjoyed most about this club is getting to know the amazing members. You will all come from different backgrounds and bring different perspectives to the table, and I truly appreciate that. I've also been lucky enough to have 3 fabulous mentors: Barbara Langford, Mary Michael Corbett, and Dana Hartledge. Each has been so generous as to share their time, insights, and advice with me as I continue to learn and grow. I cannot thank you enough. I have treasured every minute of my time spent with each of you. And I've also enjoyed the diverse selection of speakers that we've had here at our meetings each week. I hope that I will continue to learn each and every day of my life. And there's no question that I've learned many things thanks to our weekly speakers. From new research on LBED, Mechanical Hearts, to how a once small music festival has grown into the international event that we'll see this weekend, to the new waterfront botanical gardens. It's always interesting. Additionally, our bi-monthly Leadership Fellow meetings have certainly broadened my knowledge and perspective. We've had speakers such as B.B. Wood, George Fisher, Dawn G., Kate Latz, Christopher 2X, Bryce Butler from Access Ventures, where we learned about impact investing. They've all presented different viewpoints and related their life experiences. We learned why and how they give back, and opportunities for us to get involved as well. And there's no doubt that these experiences and lessons are special, and that my time as a Rotary Fellow has been an incredible one. I thank you all for granting me the opportunity, and I look forward to being a full Rotarian for many years. Thank you.
Langford, Director of Market Planning for Kindred Healthcare, a graduate of the Rotary Fellows Program and of the MBA program at the University of Louisville, and today couldn't be prouder of any of that. I have had the opportunity to be both a fellow and a mentor. I've mentored about 5 of our Rotary Fellows. Each experience has been incredibly valuable to me. And so as someone who's been on both sides of that relationship, I appreciate everyone who has answered the call to serve as a mentor in our Rotary Fellows program. I have learned so much about myself from sharing myself with others, and it has been a true honor to be affiliated with this club in that regard. I have the distinct honor of introducing someone who has already been mentioned so many times today she needs no introduction, but I want to give you a few small details about our speaker, Maggie Galloway, you may not know. She's a graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and most recently the University of Louisville's Entrepreneurship MBA program. In addition to all of the work that you've heard about that she does, she's served on the boards of Slow Food Bluegrass and the National Association of Women MBAs. And in her role as CEO of InScope Medical Solutions, she has led this team to significant accolades, including first place in the Brown-Forman Cardinal Challenge, which was actually founded by our guest, Van Klaus, over here, a wonderful friend and mentor to me. Her team has participated in business plan competitions at the University of Oregon and Rice University, and they actually won first place in the Global Venture Labs investment competition at the University of Texas. Having participated in that competition, I know how strenuous and how significant the competition is, so I congratulate you. She was listed, her company was listed as one of Enterprise Corp's Hot Dozen companies in 2015. As Alice said, winner of the 2015 Vogue Invention and Innovation Award, and most recently completed the Cedars-Sinai TechStars Healthcare Accelerator Program in Los Angeles. When identifying her personal attributes, Maggie defined herself as experienced, confident, smart, and willing to take risks. And I can tell you that your risks have paid off, and we're all incredibly proud of you for that. So without further ado, I want to introduce someone who I have incredible respect and admiration for, Maggie Galloway.
Thank you, Barbara, and for the kind introduction, as well as all that you and Jim and the rest of the Rotary Fellow Committee do to make this Rotary Leadership Fellow program possible. Like many of the fellows mentioned today, the program has been an invaluable experience for me, and it couldn't have come at a better time in my life. When I think about where I was 1 year ago today, I was graduating from the University of Louisville's Entrepreneurship MBA and just starting the Leadership Fellow program. And I had been working at Humana for the last 2 years. Let's go. Okay. I'd been working at Humana for the last 2 years and had just given my 2-week notice to quit my incredibly well-paying, with benefits, job to run my medical device startup full-time. And it was a very exciting and also very nerve-wracking time for me, and I really had no idea what I was getting myself into. But luckily, the Rotary Leadership Fellows Committee knew exactly what I needed, and they paired me with Henry Kuhn as my Rotary mentor. And for those of you who don't know Henry, unfortunately he couldn't make it today, but he's a pretty remarkable person. He started off his career at Baxter, which is a Fortune 500 medical device company. And then he went on to spend the next 30 years as the CEO of various medical device startups that were venture-backed and led all of them to successful acquisition or IPO, which is quite a feat. And for young people, as we've mentioned a number of times today, for young people who are early in their career or people looking to make a major career switch, the value of a mentor can't be understated. Great mentors help fill the knowledge gap and find opportunities to help you grow and excel. They are individuals that you can let your guard down, share your insecurities with, and ask stupid questions. And Henry has been all of those things to me. We had coffee last week, and as we were, as usual, going through my company's biggest challenges, Henry remarked about how every time we meet, I have really different issues. And he reminded me that just a couple of months ago, I was dangerously close to having $0 in my company bank account and did not know how I was going to make payroll. And having a mentor like Henry that I could be this open and vulnerable with has lifted huge weights off my shoulders and helped me find the best solutions to my biggest issues. So I'm incredibly grateful to the Rotary Club and Henry for making this mentorship possible. So when I was asked to speak to the Rotary Club today, I was a little uncertain and extremely nervous. The Rotary Club makes up some of the most accomplished business professionals in Louisville, and I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about that would be of interest to such a distinguished group. So I decided to talk about what it's like to be at the beginning. And I'm going to share our in-scope story of taking a product from idea to market. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a graduate of the University of Louisville Entrepreneurship Program, and I'm so honored that my beloved professor and dear advisor, Dr. Van Klaas, could be here today. This is a very unique MBA program that students take all of the regular MBA classes, but many of the classes are focused around building a scalable business. In the first week of the program, students are challenged to go out into their industry and find the largest, most painful problems that they can solve. And as it happened, the very first night that we got this assignment, one of my classmates, Dr. Mary Ann Mallory, who's an emergency physician at University of Louisville, was working in the ER, and a 29-year-old car accident victim was rushed in, and he had life-threatening injuries, so she had to intubate him. And intubation is the process of inserting a breathing tube into an airway when a patient can't breathe for themselves. So as you can imagine, this is a really critical procedure. And in this case, Dr. Mallory's intubation almost failed. The patient had significant blood and vomit in his airway, and she could not see the vocal cords, which was the target that she needed to see to be able to pass the breathing tube successfully into his upper airway. And so this really scary situation sparked an idea for a better intubation device that we call the in-scope. I've got it right here. And it's a lot safer for patients and easier for physicians, and we've been working on this device ever since. The Entrepreneurship MBA program teaches students the lean startup methodology, which is a practice for developing products and businesses based on validated learning. So if many of you all got MBAs, you'll know that the very first thing that most founders of new companies do is write a business plan. And a business plan is a really long document that has 5-year projections, and it's generally created by sitting at a desk and doing research and making assumptions. However, it's impossible to know the unknowns of a new business before you actually start the business. And almost no business plan survives the first contact with customers. So instead, the lean startup methodology uses a tool called the Business Model Canvas, which is a constantly progressing one-page document of hypotheses that can be tested with actual customers. And this is an example on the slide. So using this document as our guide, the in-scope team has validated our hypotheses with conversations with over 500 physicians, paramedics, hospital administrators, distributors, and investors to come up with a compelling value proposition and business model. This training by the U of L Entrepreneurship MBA program has proven invaluable to us. And it's not just useful for startup companies. Innovations in big companies can also use this technique to validate their assumptions. So our team graduated the U of L MBA program about a year ago, and we were feeling pretty good after winning the Global Venture Lab Business Competition and being invited to close the NASDAQ. However, we quickly learned that the journey was not going to be that easy. Here is a graph depicting startup success that I think is fairly accurate. The reality began to set in and the hard, long, lonely work began. last year, we were extremely fortunate to be selected for the VOTE Award. The VOTE Award is an incredible program that was born out of an endowment from Henry Vogt Heiser and is managed by the Community Foundation and GLI's Enterprise Corps. The program includes non-dilutive grant funding for startup companies, as well as mentoring and business coaching. And the funding couldn't have come at a better time. I honestly do not believe that InScope would be here today without the VOTE Award. This early seed funding carried us through to make enough progress to be an attractive investment for our first round of investment capital. And the mentorship and business coaching was incredibly helpful for us. Programs like the VOTE Award are what makes Louisville an attractive place for young people to come back to. As many of you all may know, I am a native Louisvillian, and I've lived here for most of my life, with the exception of the time that I spent at University of Wisconsin at Madison for undergraduate. And people often ask me why I don't move the business to Boston or Silicon Valley. And it's programs like the VOTE Award that make me proud to be starting a business here in Louisville and make it possible. I am incredibly grateful to the Heiser family for their leadership in building Louisville's startup community. After the VOTE program, we started to look for investment in the region, and it was so hard. Louisville's entrepreneurs struggle with access to capital. We just don't have enough early stage investors and angel investors, and many of the investors in our region tend to be very risk averse. So just as we started to run out of money for the second time, InScope was selected for the Techstars Healthcare Accelerator in partnership with Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. Techstars is a 13-week startup accelerator program, kind of like a boot camp, that comes with investment, access to the Techstars network, clinical resources at Cedars-Sinai, and mentorship. So my co-founder, Adam Casson, and I have been in LA for the last 3 months, refining our business model, finalizing our device design, setting up clinical testing, and meeting with some of the top healthcare investors and entrepreneurs. Techstars has a pretty incredible track record. The general statistic for startups is that 9 out of 10 startups fail. Somehow, miraculously, Techstars has managed to flip this statistic. And out of the 800 companies that they've invested in, 90% are still in business or have been acquired. And there are a couple of keys to their success. First, they choose companies based on the team, not the product. They believe that a strong team can make changes to overcome an initially weak product or challenging market. They have an incredible network. Techstars estimates that they have 1.3 billion people within 1 degree of separation of their program. And so they can get pretty much any company connected to any individual that they need in the world to move their company forward. And they have a pretty incredibly strong mentor base. We met with over 200 mentors during the 3-month program, and many of those individuals have continued to help us after the program was completed. I think the Louisville community can implement some of these keys to success in our own startup community by getting more people involved, especially on the mentoring side. Techstars' motto is give first. All of the Techstars mentors give freely of their time with no expectation of anything in return. And they find the experience to be rewarding for both the mentor and the mentee. Many mentors report that they learn during the teaching, and they get feedback from entrepreneurs about what's most relevant in their industry today. So if you're interested in getting involved in the startup community, and I encourage you all to get involved because we all know how important it is to encourage young people to start businesses in our community, there are some great resources available for you. If you want to try your hand at the startup life, I highly recommend Startup Weekend. It's put on once or twice a year, and I'm not exactly sure when the next one is, but it's here in Louisville. And small teams come together to form a company over the weekend. And it's a competition, so each of the teams competes to see how far they can take their business over the course of 3 days. And it's amazing, many of the companies formed over the weekend have gone on to be very successful. If you're interested in mentoring, the VOTE Award and the Accelerate Health, which is a healthcare accelerator here in Louisville, are both starting their next cohorts this fall, and I'm sure they would love to add people to their mentor roster. Perhaps one of the most impactful ways that you could help the startup community is to become an angel investor. And if this is of any interest to you, I would seek out GLI's Enterprise Corps. They have a lot of great resources to teach you how to become a great angel investor. And Enterprise Angels is a group here in Louisville that brings together angel investors to vet companies as a group and make group investments. So, President Alice, I did get a chance to go to Rotary while I was in LA, and I went to the Beverly Hills Rotary. And I can tell you that those Beverly Hills Rotarians really know how to throw a good meeting. And I took really good notes. And my number one suggestion that you might want to consider for implementation during your year as tenure is that I think that the Louisville Rotary should also serve champagne with lunch. So, in all seriousness, I want to thank the Rotary Club for all of your support. Both before and after I joined the Rotary Fellowship Program, there have been so many Rotarians who have supported me on this journey, and I don't want to leave anyone out, but you know who you are. So thank you, and I think that we may have some time for some questions.
I'm sure Maggie will share with us. I wanted to ask you, thinking about the journey you've been on over the last few years, you've had so many great things that have happened. Is there anything that you would do differently if you could start back over at the beginning?
So it depends on the week. Sometimes my co-founder and I look at each other and we're like, what the heck were we thinking? As far as, that's such a hard question. I mean, when I think about what the course of even a day looks like for an entrepreneur in the very early stages, I can have, you know, a wonderful morning and something will happen that I think, oh my gosh, this thing is really gonna work. And then an afternoon that's like, we need to shut this thing down. I mean, it is such a roller coaster that I don't know that I can pinpoint one exact thing.
Thanks, Alice. Yeah, Maggie, could you give us a snapshot of where you are now and where you know, what problems you're dealing with right now and where you see yourself being in 6 to 12 months?
Sure. So we just started manufacturing setup for our first device, which will be ready for market towards the beginning of next year. One of the major activities that we're working on right now are setting up clinical studies both here in Louisville as well as at Cedars-Sinai in Los Angeles. And we're also currently working on our distribution partnerships.
Tell me more about the device and what.
Sure. So, I've got it somewhere.
Here, I'll be your banner.
Sorry. It's a pretty simple device, right? It's actually taken a lot of work. This is a laryngoscope, which is the medical device used in intubation, or it's used to visualize the vocal cords during intubation. And the reason that you need to be able to see the vocal cords is that you have to be able to pass a breathing tube through the vocal cords, which are actually quite small. And this is a really challenging procedure, and it's made more challenging when the unexpected happens. So if the patient has significant saliva, blood, vomit, sorry, that's really gross, the physician ends up having to juggle between a bunch of pieces of equipment to be able to pass the breathing tube. And so we've integrated those pieces of equipment into one device to allow the physician to maintain a clear view. And we've also put a wireless camera in it that streams to a tablet or monitor so that the physician even has a better view of the vocal cords.
Have I seen this device on television during a movie or?
Oh, if you watch Grey's Anatomy, I think it's like every episode
Do they use?
not my device yet.
They don't?
Yeah, not
Okay.
yet.
Well,
Yet.
what makes your device so innovative?
So it's the combination of a couple of devices into one, and also sort of the way we've integrated the video component into the device has allowed us to bring the price point of it way down. So the video devices that exist on the market today, for the most part, are very expensive pieces of capital equipment, and our device is at a low price point and fully disposable, so it's accessible in all settings.
I have one last question I wanted to ask. Oh, Tracy, do you have a question? I'm sorry. One more for you.
So what is your end goal with your company? IPO, sell product, what's your end?
So companies like ours typically market, ramp up sales, and then get acquired. We do envision this as more of a platform, so we have several other devices like laryngoscopes that we'd like to connect into the software that we're building for the technology. And so our end goal is to be able to develop out all of those technologies and make them available for sale.
And this may be an unfair question, but of all the people on your team, including a physician, how did you end up as the CEO of the company?
I'm the bossiest.
I have a feeling it's natural leadership. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Maggie. Thank you, Jim, for organizing our recognition of an amazing leadership program that I think our club can be really proud of. And wow, thank you, Baylor Landrum, for having the vision to set it up for us. So our next meeting, I forgot my notes. I'm still practicing all of it. So I came up here without my notes, but it's about the West End School next Thursday, and our room is, Debbie's trying to get to.
It's right here.
It's right here, so we'll be back here next Thursday. So don't forget the What is Rotary table, and with that, our meeting is adjourned.